This is Vatsal, and in this video I will discuss my experience using the iPhone 13 Pro, and I will provide information based on the regular use of iPhone 13 Pro. So without getting late, let's get started this video. And yes, sub to the channel would be great. So what precise update we will get compared to the last year? Even if a phone has the fastest CPU in the world, if it has a slow screen, it may seem sluggish, and particularly when they compared to the uh, cutting edge technology, where now the smartphone comes with the quicker panel. As a result, the Pro Motion display is the most significant new feature of the iPhone 13 Pro. However, the Pro Motion is the only available on the Pro and Pro Max version. So sorry for the iPhone 13 and 30 minis lineup. It also not come on the last year iPhone 12 Pro models. So the the Pro series adds an additional telephoto camera and the new macro photography mode on this year, and greater power with high endurance for the which cost you around 200 to 300 bucks. But our additional camera and display on the iPhone 13 Pro is worth for the extra money. So let's get dive into it. I think there are some advantage and disadvantage of using this iPhone 13 Pro, which I feel since I last 2 days. I think the advantage is the fast promotion screens, beefy performance, and real macro photos, great cameras, long battery lives. Even though I feels like there is a like 45 to 50 minute jump on the battery performance compared to the 12 Pro, and some disadvantage are the like some promised feature aren't available yet, and automatic macro switching or photos mode sometimes headache for close close photos. So yeah, these are the advantage. But let's move forward to other categories of the iPhone 13 Pro line. I realized something when I started testing the iPhone 13 Pro yesterday. Basically, everything I do on the phone requires the scrolling, like Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. That includes the browsing, the social feed, looking for the right component on the spec sheet. So, reading the all conversation, clipping on my Instagram views, and reading articles to give you an non-exhaustive list. This is why Apple is the Pro Motion screen on the iPhone 30 Pro and Pro Max is the big deal for everyone, and also why it's a kind of annoying that it took the company so long to adopt this technology in the first place. Compared to Google was already a little behind when it added the 90 Hz panel to its Pixel 4, and after companies like Asus and OnePlus had already introduced the high refresh rate. Nowadays, this tech isn't just premium or top tier Android device, so everyone should get this 120 Hz refresh rate. So this is the big update for the iPhone 13 Pro, which you should consider before upgrading your older device, and whether it is Android or iPhone. This is hardly the first time Apple is led to adopt the new technology, but it's worth emphasizing that the faster screens on the iPhone make the real difference. Like many Android phones, the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max adjust the refresh rate depending on what you are doing. If you are playing the game, the refresh rate will jump and go to 120 Hz. And if you are just scrolling through Instagram, then your refresh rate would be around 100 and 110. So depending on what you are doing, the refresh rate will adjust itself by the automatic. So that can go as low as the 10 Hz when you are looking at the static image, or up to 120 Hz for scrolling and compatible games. The benefit might not be obvious at the first, but when you go back and to slow screen like the previous year iPhone, you will definitely notice the jagged artifact they produce. Aside from the Pro Motion, the iPhone 13 Pro's OLED panel are 25% brighter than their previous year iPhones. So, which is nice for outdoor reading, but uh, without a side-by-side comparison, regardless of the fact, I really enjoyed the watching the movies and music video on the iPhone 13 Pro's two-tone display. It is very nice, and you should definitely try this. So these are the biggest update on the display compared to the last year. There is no much upgrade on the audio. It's basically same like the last year iPhone 12 Pro. It gets a bit of higher and rich audio. So that's it for display and audio. So, as per the Apple report, Apple says the iPhone 13 Pro's rear camera have received the biggest upgrade ever, uh, toting the next level hardware that captures so much more detail. The triple 12 megapixel setup includes a primary sensor with a large 1.5 aperture and 77 telephoto lens, and an ultra wide option with the 120-degree field of view. Night mode is now supported on the all three of camera, so you don't have to worry about which lens you are using or which mode you are using while you are taking photographs. There is also new macro photography feature thanks to the updated ultra wide lens, along with the software like photographic style and cinematic mode. Those two modes are also offered on the iPhone 13 and 13 mini. So now talk about the photographic style. In short, the photographic style lets you easily customize and set a sort of default for a contrast level and color temperature for your image. Meanwhile, cinematic mode is the good at identifying face and people in a scenes and blurring out everything surrounding the subject. But it struggled when I tried to change the focal point. So the system is also little wonky at the outlining individual and stray body parts like the thumb and ears can get um, blur sometimes, and it also you can also observe the artificial blur sometimes on the surrounding subject line. So I found that adjusting the intensity via the you know, software setting help keep this problem at the bay, but the trade-off was less of DSLR like it looks in the final video. So it's very good for the vloggers or like some general general people, but it's not at the professional level at it should. One feature that pros have over the regular 13 is the macro photography. With these generations, you can get as close as 2 centimeters from your subject and not lose a focus on the subject. Unfortunately, Apple doesn't offer a way to manually enable the macro photography mode. The system automatically switches to the close-up camera when you get all up into something face. The iPhone 13 Pro was centrally curated at the detecting when I was trying to get the tight shot, but it kept changing back and forth between the macro and regular view, which sometimes headache for photography. Sometimes it would continually focus and refocus on the flowers behind the birds, and I was trying to shoot. The latter is more understandable issue. Every little hair trimmer is magnified when the camera is zoomed that far in and making it hard to latch on the subject. Not in a mention in something in the motion like leaf in wheel, but that's all more reason to give users manual control. Apple has said it will be releasing a software update soon that should prevent the camera from switching in and out of macro mode, which I of course can't watch for yet. And when it worked as expected, macro mode delivered surprisingly great result, and my sorts of close flower birds and vent system on the leaf surface were surprisingly detailed, showing the individuals hair on the stem petals, close up on the dry trees. It is, in short, you can get very accurate uh, macro photography experience with the iPhone 13 Pro lineup. Another thing you need to make sure let enough light shine on your subject during the macro photography, um, because it is very important while you're capturing the photo. And in general, iPhone 13 Pro took the sharp, colorful photos, revealing the very good photographic compared to the Pixel 5 and S21 Ultra. Apple's default treatment renders picture data typically brighten and something more saturated. But with the photographic style, now you can pick what look that you like and stick with it. I'm not a fan of iPhone aggressive HDR effect compared to the Pixel's more natural landscape. But frankly, we are at the point where Samsung, Google, and Apple are generally on par of terms of CR and quality. So iPhone 13 Pro has upgraded sensor, also really improved the low light performance. To test this out, I took some photos of moon um, hide behind the cloud in the middle of Melbourne with S21 Ultra, Pixel 5, and iPhone 13 Pro, and they were all clean up and sharp. They differed a bit in color temperature, but it's not noticeable without the direct comparison. And the Pixel it still retains the advantage with the night sight, so it produces photo data really significantly clear, brighter, richer in detail. As for the 13 Pro's front camera, it is pretty much same as the iPhone 13's lineup, and that's not the bad thing. You will still get the cinematic mode and photographic style by the 12 megapixel true tone depth sensor, and though selfie were a little soft in low light, they were otherwise sharp and no issue about selfie or video calling. Because they are the Pro series phone, Apple also threw a support for ProRes video in the additional of iPhone 13 Pro format for. You can record the 1080 for the base model and 4K resolution on the 256 gigs and higher model of the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. So please note before the buying the base model, because you can lock yourself for ProRes about the 1080p 30 frames per second. Speaking of the iPhone 13 series, runs on the iOS 15 out of the box, and I was able to test most of the feature when I tested the beta version. One feature that I significantly like is the focus mode. For example, let you set the custom home page and notification profile based on your location or time of the day. It's one of my favorite new feature on any smartphone platform in the recent year, because it allows people without a separate work device to switch from work when they please. Since the most of the iOS 15's new feature will be coming to older iPhones, so they are unlikely to sway your decision on whether you should upgrade or not. We will have a more in-depth review of iOS 15, but suffice to say I appreciate the level of control it offers, and I'm especially looking forward to testing out the Share Play feature, which is available later to this year and which isn't rolled out yet. So, but will let you watch the show with stream your phone screens to friends over FaceTime, which is a really good feature, and I'm keen to use this feature. Now talking about the performance and battery life, the main difference between the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro's processor is that the latter use the 5-core GPU. That means the graphic interpretation tasks or like gaming or video editing should be executed more quickly. I made a trailer on the iPhone 13 Pro, which you are seeing this video. It's made on the iPhone 13 Pro, and it just take like 20 to 25 seconds to exporting video. So it shows the how fast the A15 Bionic chip are. And other than that, I used to do daily stuff like watching YouTube videos, Netflix, playing music with the high volume, snap photos in the rapid succession. That all perform very well and without any delay. As I know, and I already said this a lot, but I have a stress again that the faster screens has just made the using experience of the iPhone 13 Pro is more premium and feels very good compared to the 60 Hz refresh rate. And I spent the most of the time of last 2 days with the iPhone 13 Pro, and I one of the thing I just noticed that it feels more premium when you are using the battery life is more compared to the last year when I was playing the game and exporting video. It feels so much faster compared to the iPhone 12 Pro. And and meanwhile I don't need to worry about the running out of use. So considering its high refresh rate, that's an impressive runtime. Like I have got screen on time around the 7.5 hour for doing the various activity, and I'm still running the battery race across the iPhone 13 Pro and 12 Pro, and we'll update this review with more evidence based result as soon as it's done. For now, though, it's clear that despite the promotion display, the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max can last longer than a day for every regular usage people, and even though for uh, doing the graphic intensive or high performance task. So, in nutshell, with the faster screen, super performance, and long-lasting battery, the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max are excellent phone. And if you are in device older than the 12 Pro, you should consider upgrading just for the new ProMotion display. So the camera also got note for the improvement, and I'm not sure they are going to be biggest draw for upgrading compared to the 12 Pro, but it's honestly hard to spot the difference in the quality between photos taken by the Apple's recent flagship and the 13 Pro. Uh, you should also consider before upgrading to iPhone 13 Pro. Features like cinematic mode, photographic style, and macro camera are nice to have, but won't define your 13 Pro experience. And the Apple was playing the catch up to Android flagship by finally introducing the 120Hz screen to its phone. There are now fewer things that Samsung and Google offer that the iPhone doesn't. So, for basically anyone who use iOS, the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, if you don't mind its weight, it's worth the upgrade.